Dennis Rodman has remained the NBA's most controversial star, and he did some crazy things on and off the court. But he did make a name for himself playing alongside stars like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. During his career, he was even given the nickname The Worm. He suffered from a very tragic childhood and even attempted suicide. But after his rehabilitation, he proclaimed himself as the bad boy. And he proved himself to be a bad boy throughout his career, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines for his crazy capers. Today, we're going to go over 10 Dennis Rodman stories that you guys need to hear about. We'll kick it off with number 10. In March of 1996, in a regular season game against the New Jersey Nets, one of his more fiery outbursts came when he was given 2 technical fouls and eventually asked to leave the game and head to the locker room. Outraged by Ted Bernhardt's call, Dennis took the issue up with the ref and started screaming in his face. Then he jumped out of the fire and into the frying pan by headbutting the referee. He made an even bigger scene as he left the court, knocking over a water cooler and throwing away his jersey. As a result of this debacle, he was fined $20,000 and suspended for 6 games without pay. Moving on now to number 9, Rodman has been a longtime fan of the band Pearl Jam. Once he attended one of their concerts in Dallas, and he made a scene there by going to the stage without his shirt on, swinging a bottle of wine around in his hand. According to a critic in the audience, Rodman stayed on stage with the band for about 45 minutes before they finally got tired of his foolishness. He also attempted to sing and provide backing vocals for his favorite songs, so management had to cut off his mic. Finally, after disturbing the whole concert for so long, Rodman eventually decided to leave the stage. Next up at number 8, Rodman once mentioned that he had a hot temper. His bad attitude and hot-headedness landed him in even hotter water after this incident. During a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Rodman accidentally tripped over cameraman Eugene Amos while running. Flushed with anger, he lashed out at the cameraman, who was just sitting by the basketball stanchion. Dennis actually landed a kick into the groin of the cameraman, resulted in him losing consciousness. Eventually, the cameraman was laid on a stretcher and taken to a nearby hospital for immediate treatment. He'd already shown his anger by headbutting that ref in the previous season, so as a punishment for this deed, he was again fined heavily, this time $25,000, and kicked out of the season for 11 games without pay. Dennis also agreed to pay $200,000 for the inflicted injury, but he ended up paying $1 million in total to the cameraman for treatment. Now we're on to number 7. After his basketball career, Rodman remained popular on American TV screens, but in a unique capacity. With his hoops career now in the past, the 5-time NBA champion made his venture into reality television. Rodman was the 6th contestant to be booted off the 13th edition of the Celebrity Apprentice, but he was fired by former US President Donald Trump. The reason behind his firing was absolutely crazy because it was just a spelling error. He misspelled the name of former First Lady Melania's name, spelling it Milania instead of M-E, on a poster for her skincare line. I think Rodman learned a tough lesson there. Never ever mess with Mr. President. Coming in at number 6, have you guys ever heard of Kim Jong Un? Yeah, we're talking about the Supreme Commander of North Korea. And Dennis Rodman actually visited him. Yes, he went to North Korea to see Kim Jong Un. Kim is a self-professed basketball fan who was fascinated with the Chicago Bulls teams of the 90s. Considering how hard it is to get in and out of this East Asian country, this meeting attracted a bunch of media attention. It was crazy to see how Rodman and Kim Jong Un befriended each other, and to our surprise, Rodman even pledged to be the dictator's friend for life and promised to visit him again. In celebration of Kim's birthday, Rodman and other NBA stars played an exhibition game against the Korean men's basketball team.
Jong Un.
Happy birthday to you.
He had lied about the nature of the trip with other NBA players, and so he received plenty of backlash from human rights activists. Question: how many of you want to see Rodman and Kim dance to the song Bad Boys for Life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now we're on to number 5. While he was famous for making headlines because of nasty things off the court, he also offered incredible play on the court. When the Bulls earned fame in the 90s, he was the one doing the dirty work to help his team win by grabbing tons of rebounds, playing great defense, and making his name in the history of the Bulls. In an interesting game with the San Antonio Spurs, Dennis went on an early season run where he would achieve a bunch of rebounds but surprisingly score 0 points in the process. In 3 consecutive games, Rodman grabbed more than 24 rebounds in each game but only attempted 7 shots. And on December 1st, 1993, the eccentric Rodman etched his names in the record books by collecting 28 rebounds in a game while failing to score any points. This guy was really something else. Coming in at number 4, the less we say about this one, the better, because this one has to do about Rodman's manhood. In a documentary called Party Legends by Vice, Rodman revealed a secret in graphic detail about how he broke his, we'll call it manhood, on 3 separate occasions while trying to make love. Yeah, that's 3 different times on 3 different occasions. The basketball star revealed the first incident occurred on a boat in Dallas, Texas. Someone got some real kinks here. He's quoted as saying, "Me and my girlfriend, we were on the back of the boat in a king-size bed, and she said, 'I think I'm gonna try something different.' She told me to walk over there and told me to run and jump in her And so our basketball hero ran, jumped, and heard a crunch. And after that, witnessed blood everywhere. She's screaming and screaming, 'Oh my God, he's dead,' Rodman recalled. I said, 'No, honey, I just broke my dick.' That's what we call destroyed in seconds." The second incident didn't happen on the boat, but in a room. Rodman met a new lady called Tracy and had just finished wining and dining with her. Rodman says, during dinner, she pulled out a book titled How to Suck Dick in 10 Different Ways. Hightailing it back to the hotel room, things quickly took a turn. Next thing you know, she turned around and pushed back on me hard. Crack, another one. Blood everywhere. I couldn't do anything. Now, Rodman went on to offer even more details, saying, "While I could still get erect despite the injury, it doesn't get straight and instead looks like a big effed up carrot." But this foolhardy guy didn't stop there, and the third time happened during a similar situation. He recalled, "It was in New York. Same thing. We go to the hotel room and we're having sex and it ended up breaking. We went to the hospital and my girlfriend is like, 'Well, you know, he has a problem with his penis.' The woman comes up and says, 'Oh, I'll be right back.' She brought another doctor in and then another one. I swear to God, she just kept bringing people in. They told me I had a contused penis." Now, making matters even worse for Rodman, his girlfriend got a call from one of the nurses the next day threatening to sell the x-rays of Rodman's junk if they didn't hand over $25,000. And what was Rodman's response? Quote, "Sell them." I cannot stop laughing at this one. Okay, now that one's behind us, we'll move on to number 3. On the exact night as the flu game, one of the most iconic games in Michael Jordan's career, Rodman saw some controversy once again, but this time it was for breaching the league's hate speech policy. Following the Bulls' famous win over the Utah Jazz in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, Rodman grumbled about the effing Mormons in the stands. Utah, of course, is widely linked to Mormons, and Rodman's comments landed him the largest player fine in NBA history. Later, Rodman tried defending himself, implying he didn't know Mormons had religious ties. He said, "If I knew it was a religious type deal, I never would have said it." Coming in at number 2, during the 90s, professional wrestling was at its most popular as WWE, which was then named WWF, went head-to-head with WCW in the Monday Night Wars, a battle for TV ratings. And with wrestling the hottest thing on the planet at the time, it was only reasonable that Rodman would make an appearance alongside the iconic Hulk Hogan. While his appearance on WCW thrilled those in the audience, it left those associated with the Bulls furious after Rodman decided to skip a mandatory film session during the 1998 NBA Finals just so he could be at a WCW event in Michigan. We've made it now to number 1. When Dennis Rodman calls into a radio show and says he wants to be on the air, you've got to buckle your seatbelt because you never know what you're going to get. Swear words could start flying around, or he could completely change the subject and just start talking about random things and maybe even put another girl on the phone as well. And that's exactly what happened in this story. Rodman called into the Jorge Sedano show on 790 The Ticket in Miami, and he started to talk about the struggles of the Miami Heat. However, it sounded as if his priority was somewhere else. Of course, his focus probably was somewhere else because it sure sounded like he was laying in bed with a woman, presumably getting pleasure during the interview. This was by far one of the funniest and one of the strangest things I've ever heard on the radio. But then again, it is Dennis Rodman, so it kind of comes with the territory. You've got to listen to the interview in its entirety to get the full effect of what we're talking about here, and you can then judge for yourself. But here's the gist of it. While he was talking to Jorge about his stances on LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, listeners reportedly noticed that the Bulls legend seemed to be receiving oral sex while giving an interview on the phone. He told the Jorge Sedano show, quote, "The Miami Heat, right? You know what? There's a reason that LeBron can't accept, Dwayne Wade can't accept, and Bosh can't accept the fact that, you know what? I love that Michael, Scottie, and Dennis Rodman got along. They can't get it together. That's the main thing. They can't get it together. Other teams cannot adjourn to these people, and that's the main thing. If you see LeBron's face and the way he walks on the court all the time, what are you doing? What are you doing? This girl is really active. Oh my lord, she's going at it right now, dude." As you can hear from that quote, he was kinda all over the place and then got a little distracted at the end. But I'm telling you, man, with Dennis Rodman, I don't think anything surprises me anymore. That's all we got for you today. If you liked the video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. With that, we'll say goodbye for today and peace out. Want more Rodman videos? Then check out This Is Why Dennis Rodman Changed Rebounding in the NBA. Up next.